guys, Tara here for Destructoid. I am here at the Revision 3 offices and it's been quite a busy day. I've got to check out a lot of games, and one that I was really personally looking forward to was Sniper Ghost Warrior 2, which is the sequel to 2010's Sniper Ghost Warrior from City Interactive. You might have heard of the first one, you may never have played it. It actually sold pretty well, but it got kind of panned by critics because it was built on the Cryengine, and because of that and a few other reasons, it had some really bad technical issues, like enemy AI was supposed to be horrific. I really enjoyed it. I played it maybe a year after it came out, so a lot of patches had already been, sent out by then. So they've completely redone the game in the Cryengine 3 now, which looks amazing, and it's totally eliminated a lot of the issues that they had before with things like enemy AI. And of course the game just looks way prettier now. There's 12 total levels in the game. We were shown off 2 of them. First we saw Sarajevo, which is kind of one of the more urban areas of the game. It's actually part of a flashback mission. We don't really know the context or anything of what we saw, but there's also a jungle area, similar to the environment in the first game. And then we were also told that there's some swimming parts, there's underground caves, there's a whole lot of different environments this time around. And one of the big things that they've really added also is the story, which was kind of thinly veiled in the first one. It was pretty generic. There's bad guys and you gotta kill them. Now you get introduced to this villain Vladik, who is a Serbian general who has basically committed genocide on an entire city. And you eventually get captured by him around halfway through the game, and you're supposed to escape. Just missions like that, at one point in Sarajevo we had to recover a sniper rifle, you gotta sneak around enemy camps and things. It's a lot like your typical shooter games, but it has a focus on sniping, which is great. I think sniping is personally my favorite area of most shooter games, and the first game in the series actually had some non-sniping parts in it. There were parts where you could use assault rifles, and the developers have listened to fan feedback and read all sorts of reviews, and they know what people want now, and apparently what people want is not assault rifles, it's sniping. So they've completely done away with all the non-sniping parts of the game. The only other weapon you really get are grenades, which seems kind of counterintuitive in a game that's built mostly around a stealth mechanic. But my guess it's probably a last-ditch attempt. If you're surrounded by guys and they happen to spot you, just throw a grenade out. You can actually also lay like claymore mines around you, so if people try to sneak up on you, they'll get blown to pieces. Just like kind of peripheral weapons like that. One of the coolest things about this game, though, which they totally brought back from the first one, is the Killcam. So every so often, if you line up an exact headshot, and the reticule will turn red when you enter the scope, if you're in the right spot, it'll trigger this short cutscene where you can actually see the bullet flying out of your gun and hitting the enemy target. And I swear to God, it never gets old. That part of the game is amazing, and I legitimately think that's the #1 reason why people enjoyed the first one, and it was definitely my favorite part. They've also introduced a couple new mechanics. You've got binoculars, so you can actually pull those up at any time, and if it locates an enemy within your range of sight, it'll put a little triangle on top of them. So even when you are no longer using binoculars, you can still sight your targets, which is kind of cool, especially in military games where there's a lot going on and it's really hard to spot people. This is actually really helpful. They've also got night vision goggles and thermal vision. So with the thermal one, you can actually see guys, in dark territories, but also behind walls and stuff, which is really cool. And you can shoot through a lot of walls with that as well. Like if it's wooden or something, it doesn't matter. If you shoot through it, it'll kill the guy anyway. They also introduced a new slide move, which is cool. I'm not sure what purpose it really serves. But there's also, if you press down on the right analog stick, you can trigger a stealth kill if you get close enough to a guy without him noticing you. And that also triggers a very short cutscene where you slit a guy's throat or stab a guy in the kidney. There's a few different ones, so it kind of varies it up a little bit. Most of the game is played with a spotter, so I'd say maybe around 70 to 80%, he said. You've got somebody there with you, an AI character who's kind of giving you commands. Because you've got checkpoints similar to Call of Duty, but you've also got this person here whose goal it is to basically make sure you don't get sniped while you're looking out for other snipers. And it also kind of just helps ease into the game, and it makes you feel like it's maybe not so boring, since it is a game mostly about, stealthiness and waiting for a long time for action to happen. So that kind of changes it up a little. They've got a little mini map in there, which is great. They've got kind of this interesting visibility mechanic. So when you get spotted, the meter will actually fill up red when you've been completely spotted, and it'll actually show the direction in which you've been spotted by enemies, which is super helpful. Difficulty modes, they've got 3 standard ones, easy, medium, hard. They've also got a custom one, which I thought was really cool. So you can customize which aspects of the game you really want to fine tune. If you want to, say, take the gravity down a bit, or maybe eliminate wind resistance. They've also got aim assist, maybe like 7 or 8 options in there that are really good, especially if you are not that great at sniping and you're kind of just getting started in it. So that's a good feature for kind of easing people into the crazy mechanics of sniping. Obviously this is a shooter game, which means that it's got a heavy multiplayer component. We actually just saw the single player component today. We do know, however, that the multiplayer will have a redesigned mini-map. So whereas in the first game it showed all of your enemies on the mini-map, and because everybody's sniping, it's kind of boring because you automatically know where everybody is. Now they've redesigned the minimap, so you only see your enemies when they move or do anything that would create any kind of noise. So they've kind of, you know, tweaked a little bit, but made it a little bit more challenging, but also more fair, I think. I'm told that the single-player campaign clocks at around 10 hours if you complete all the missions, and then you can probably get at least that much out of the multiplayer because, you know, it's a shooting game. It's meant to be played multiplayer. But I'm actually really impressed by what I saw of the single-player campaign. Hopefully we'll get to see more in the future. I know this game comes out in summer. It was originally supposed to come out a couple days ago, I think, but it got pushed back. And I'm really liking what I see so far. I'm actually quite impressed. So thanks for watching. You guys can find me on Twitter. I'm at TerraLongest. And of course, make sure you're subscribed to our show for more videos, and we'll see you soon.